Hello, it's Beverly with the Intuitive Interior, and time for the November 25 I Ching reading. This is the Yin Fire Pig month. Now, what makes this month a little more interesting is that it is the conflict month or the conflict animal to the year of the snake. And why is it called a conflict animal? Because the snake inhabits the southeast section of the compass. The pig is over here in the northwest. So you've this little polarity here, this back and forth. And so like magnets, when you put them together, there's that kind of push pull thing. So that's what's happening. That's why it's called a conflict. Whenever you have that back and forth like that, think about sandpaper, how sandpaper um, well, its job is to smooth out the rough edges. We have a lot of sandpaper this month. Now, this forecast is going from November the 7th through December the 6th. So um, it's not exactly aligning. Um, because the pig's energy is that of abundance. It's in the Chinese mythology, it is if you had a fat pig, well, man, you were rich because you had enough food to not only feed yourselves, but you also had enough food to feed the pig. Um, yeah, they're a little slower, and some people think of them as being gluttonous and lazy, and the lazy pig is a common epithet. But I grew up on a pig farm. Those are some of the smartest animals. I loved hanging out with them, honestly, because they knew what they wanted. They knew they wanted to root around for some food. They knew they wanted to enjoy life and stay cool, which is why they would roll around in the mud, because pigs don't have sweat glands, just like dogs. Dogs pant because they have no sweat glands. Well, pigs roll around in mud to act as sunscreens. So, they're smart. Smelly, but they're smart. That's another one thing I really want to take away here for you guys. Now, the yin fire piece, that is like the candle. I've got a candle burning in the background for extra visual aids. The candle one single candle doesn't make a big difference if the lights are on. But you turn out all the lights, and that one little tea light can make a beautiful glow that everyone can benefit from. And so that's why there's so much of talk around the yin fire as being enthusiasm. It's about warmth. It's about inspiration. Um, the other piece, though, with that fire of the candle is one little wrong move and you can set the entire house on fire. So I've had that experience, sadly, as well, but that's for another story. So the yin fire pig, I'm going to go ahead and just hold up this cute card. It shows a little pig with wings made out of fire flying through the air, and on its head there's a little halo. uh, I just I think it's a really cute little image. And in the Vicky Iskandar Oracle deck, it says that the fire pig pillar is one of the four that carries a special frequency of divine support. Um, there's a heavenly frequency that keeps the inner light going strong. It's a confirmation that the divine will always have your back. Um, Stay positive to keep stoking your inner flame, the fire within. Your bright light will guide you on even the darkest nights. And the pig is a travel star. So it's a very fast moving energy by nature. And it's an indication that you need only to turn on your inner joy to quickly spread your light. So I think that's a really good piece to keep in mind for everybody, even if you don't have pig in your astrology chart, because that joy that radiates from within ends up showing up for everybody else and gives them that same feeling. We've all been around people who don't necessarily vibe with us. If they're in a really bad mood, their bad mood can suck some of that joy out of us. But if we're sharing that joy, if we're sharing that enthusiasm and that inner light, we can change up the other people's vibe. I had the experience of working a early voting this past couple of weeks, and when those lines are long, people's tempers tend to get a little short. And when you come through, though, I would do my best to come through as in a very positive, upbeat, happy way. Try to make sure that I was offering what assistance I could, and that seemed to make everybody's time there go a little bit better. So that's one of those things. Now, the next card for the month of November is number 16 in the I Ching, and that is it's enthusiasm. And looks like there is a person with flowy fabrics dancing and moving around. Again, sharing, just letting themselves go. And again, I also am guilty of dancing in the most strange times. But again, that gives you a little bit of an idea of who I am. The words on this are self expression, inspiring others, self confidence, totality, success, sharing, and a positive response. So that kind of, again, goes along with what I was talking about with the fire pig card, because, again, those are really two of the same messages, just from different decks. It's this enthusiasm. It really is about, how are we showing up to be a leader, an inspirational leader. It doesn't mean that we're going to be like the next Mahatma Gandhi or the next Dalai Lama, but we can show up for those around us in ways that um, model the joy, the zest for life, um, they call it here the illumined presence. It seems like a rather highfalutin way of describing it. But poets, artists, they show up with this type of enthusiasm, this type of excitement to go on to the next project. The other challenge, though, and this is where this month in October is going to be an opportunity for growth, shall we say, is if you have a fear of inadequacy. This can lead to an addiction to the adoration that power can bring. And that turns into an ever greater need to appear extraordinary. So, that type of constant running after this notion that you've got to do more and more and more for people to like you, that also, if you have any kind of that people pleasing background, like I do, um, that and keep thinking that you have to do more and more and more and bigger and better and greater just so people like you, that is going to just absolutely burn you out and exhaust you. uh, I want everybody to also notice that this next year 2026 has a lot of this fire energy in it. It is a yang fire horse year. There's going to be a lot of this heavy duty um, need and drive to do more. And so that's when we have to calm things down. That's why this month is actually going to be honestly a really fun month, and that we'll be able to get a lot accomplished if we can remember to nurture our little inner piggies, so that we can have some time to rest, have some time to, be calm as we're, taking a break from searching for all of the great little truffles and other goodies in life. Um, it's also a month for us all to look at our potential. Where are we missing out on what could be, what is next, and how much we deserve it? That's the other piece. A lot of times we don't feel like we actually deserve to get those good things. So this is the time to take a look at it. The next clarifying card is number 61, inner truth. And this has it looks like a Buddhist style figure on a lotus leaf and in deep meditation. It's about a person going within, the wisdom of the heart, insight, clarity, purity, intuitive knowing, consciousness, and penetrating illusion. We all can have our illusions penetrated a little bit. Um, we all need to get that little wake up call occasionally. Sometimes we think we're really nice, and next thing we know, some words are they're coming out of our mouth are like, "Ooh, yeah, that was really harsh. Maybe you need to, back off of that." Um, but also, sometimes we need to check our own privilege and check our own unwillingness to, follow rules because there really are rules in life that we need to obey, specifically like traffic laws and things like that. This is focus line 5, and it says, like a mirror, you are able to simply reflect what is without passing judgment or distorting the images with preconceived ideas about how things should be. With this card coming up, and the fact that we have Mercury going retrograde 2 days after this energy gets solidified, that Mercury goes retrograde on the 9th of November and goes through the 29th of November. So pretty much all of our pig month energy is going to have this communication and how we're moving forward in life and all that. It's going to have that little extra layer of, okay, what do we need to revisit? That's why I'm really excited about this inner truth card coming up, because we can now take a look at, again, belief systems, assumptions, what is the truth and what is the absolute truth. The it is. I'm just going to say this out again. If we are really tied to one absolute truth out there, mostly with like belief systems, religions, etc., without looking at the hard facts, we can still be led and misled by those who wish to take that trust and abuse it. We we need to listen to that inner voice, and sometimes those inner voices get twisted by those in power who want to control you. Um, Truth itself, it's eternal. It doesn't change. It is what it is. Okay, so the next card that I'm going to talk about here is number 33, and that is retreat. That is a bunch of the birds flying south for the winter. That is kind of what we're starting to see here in the Texas area, where with the weather finally cooling down a little bit, and nature doing what it does, and it helps the migration. And it's that clue that, okay, things are getting a little cold. It's time to go and stock up for the winter. Get those little nuts in there in your little cubby. It's time to make sure that you've got your stuff on hand for soups. All the good stuff. Getting yourself nestled in for the winter. Retreat says a timely departure, letting go, withdrawal, reevaluation, retirement, and don't hesitate to walk away. This focus line is number 1. And again, that focus line number 1 is about the internal, just really going within. And it says, this made me giggle, flapping about and creating a drama isn't going to change the fact that your timing was off. The only thing that you can do is be more aware the next time a new opportunity arises. Better to step off the dance floor as unobtrusively as possible and sit this one out. Does that mean there's going to be some drama happening during Thanksgiving? Probably. Does that mean that maybe, there's some people that want to start something with you, but you're not really into it? It takes two to tango, to, keep you doing that dance metaphor. You do not have to pick up the rope no matter how many people want to play tug of war with you. They can't tussle if you simply walk away. So that's where the retreat comes in. Remember, we talked about Mercury retrograde, miscommunication, conflict. It can really come to a head. So you need to be aware of when you just need to take a step back. All right, the last focus card is number 9, the taming power of the small. Now, this one's come up before. Called the it talks about self-restraint, self-sufficiency, careful preparations, resourcefulness, minor impediments, and adaptability. This also is focus line 1. Take care of your own affairs now. Work quietly and diligently to do the best you can in each and every moment. Life may not feel as though it's giving you what you want, but it is most certainly providing what you need. Appreciation of the things that we have control over is going to really be a big thing in November. At least here in the US, we have a lot of uncertainty right now. The government is making non-moves, I would say. The government, officials we're finishing up an election here in Texas. There are other elections coming up, but more importantly, there are simply family decisions that need to be made, and sometimes condensing down is what the best choice of action is. Taking care of the details, making sure that when you are signing any documents, especially with Mercury being retrograde, this is crucial this month to make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And then again, we're noticing where you are making yourself busy, where you don't need to be, so that you can, again, stay focused on those details. I would love to say that, this is going to be just a smooth sailing month. No, I'm not going to tell you that. But it will be pivotal. It will be magical in many ways. And you're going to be able to look back at this time frame to see, wow, okay, I really can appreciate why things happened the way they did, because it gave me that next step that I didn't know that I needed. That's the power of conflict. That's the power of the hard conversation. That's the power of challenging your own inner self and your knowing, and just asking those hard questions and being willing to receive the hard answers. That's the most important thing, is being willing to admit that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't have all the answers. Maybe there are experts out there who know a thing or two, and I could learn from them. And maybe you're that expert for someone else. So I hope this helps. If I have anybody who wants to share some information below, I would happily correspond with you. In the meantime, if you like these, share, subscribe, hit the bell, do what everybody else tells you to do for these videos. But thank you so much, and have a good November. Bye.